Hi guys, what's up? It's me, Mex. 5 years ago, I did a video titled My 10 Favorite Fursuit Dancers. You can find that video over on my other channel. It's really dated. As many of y'all know, I am a fursuit dancer. I've been doing this since 2012 as a pretty involved hobby. This video is to shine a light on some of those dancers that have, really inspired me over the years. While a lot of the dancers are going to remain the same, a lot of new ones have come in and a lot of dancers hit a different way now than they did back then. So I just wanted to make an updated version of that video. Now understand, as I go through this list, I am not ranking this alone on dance technical skill. While that is important, that's not what's going to play the biggest role here. This is going to be my personal list of the dancers who inspire and influence me the most. Not 10 dancers that I think are the best dancers. And of course, my opinion is just that, my opinion. Anyone else can have a favorite fursuit dancer, and hey, if you actually have some different fursuit dancers that aren't on this list that you want to give a shout out to, please feel free to drop them in the comments section below. I will try to respond to every comment in here. Just letting you guys know that that option is available, but without any further ado, let's get started. My 10 favorite fursuit dancers. Number 10. So this particular individual has not been active in the dancer first scene in a long time, but OGs will remember this name because he was awesome. He had an incredible glitch style complete with some popping and some waving, and his style looked very loose. While controlled to an extent, it looked just chaotic enough to really get you engrossed. He has this ability to really draw you into the song that he's encapsulating with his dance. Again, one of the biggest things about a dancer is how well they can make the dance fit their song. Make it look like the song was built around the dance rather than the other way around. And Mosey was really good at that. Mosey's dancing really inspired me a lot early on. I was going for that electro kind of popping, glitching style that he was going for. I was learning waving, I was learning foundations of popping, and I would watch a lot of what he did and tried to emulate it, so much so that I literally got told at conventions that I dance and look like Mosey, so... Number 9. Ooh. This list was actually pretty hard to make. I had to make a couple of painful cuts here. Number 9 goes to Doc Drakes. The way Doc's influenced me as a dancer is pretty simple, pretty cut and dry. It's how he built and shaped a choreography. Or even regardless of whether or not it's a choreography, I'm pretty sure that most of his stuff is at least partially choreographed, if not fully, but it's how he would build a performance. Look at this example from Megaplex 2015.
Miss Livingston, this is an adult human being inside of an animal costume. I'm a trigender pyro fox.
And now here's my bit from Megaplex 2016.
That's a little odd, I know. I don't know if I'm cut out for this. I don't dance to dubstep. I don't like gunshot transitions. I can't stand dabbing. And if I hear Uptown Funk one more time, I'm launching myself into the friggin' stratosphere. Congrats on your dance comp bingo.
You kind of see that the structure, while the execution's completely different, the structure is kind of the same. He inspired me and influenced me directly in how to build and construct a choreography with a beginning, middle, and end effectively. Number 8. Number 8 is I don't know if he wants to go by. I don't know what they want to go by. Is it Scout or is it Hallow or is it both? Scallow, Hout. Textures. Let's talk about textures.
Give me some time to think. I'm in the bathroom looking at me. Facing the mirror is all I need.
Look at how all these movements have such a firm, intentional beginning, but have such a nice, smooth execution that make it look effortless. This is what studio training does, my friends. This is just clean and nice to look at. This is not the last time we're going to talk about cleanliness and simplicity here, but clean and simple. And here's the thing. Simple, good, clean movements that put off the message or the emotion that you're trying to convey in an effective or creative way bears way more weight than simply doing hard moves and not executing them perfectly. Trust me, simple and clean is best. Scout is one of those dancers that really just kind of came out of nowhere in the last couple of years and has just stunned me in every performance he's put out. Honestly, I look forward to every time this guy gets on stage. Whenever I'm on stream talking, like watching the dance competitions, and Scout comes out, I'll be like, oh shit, here comes another banger. I'll be honest, like, I'm just gonna go ahead and show my reaction from the first time I watched him dance. Excuse me. There's a lot to unpack here. Number 7. So, this is the first instance of somebody on my last list actually being higher the second time around. JD Puppy has influenced me in a lot of ways directly. First of all, I just kind of study a lot of what he does in his competition pieces, especially his more emotional ones. Because I absolutely adore the way he's able to convey a mood or a feeling in his competition performances. He can basically hit any emotion that he envisions with his competition pieces. He's also extremely passionate about performance. He's always wanting to put his best foot forward and is not willing to give up after any kind of failure, and is willing to see the light in even the darkest places, because that's me too. I've had hard times in doing this. I've had times where I didn't feel like I put out my best. I've had times where I felt like I was done, but that's kind of just how things go sometimes. Sometimes you might feel you're washed, but don't give up the passion that you've had and the work that you've done just because you're burnt out in the moment. Look at the sky, you're still here. You'll be alive next year. I can make something good of something good. Number 6. So I think number 6 might come as my biggest surprise to have on this list. At least I know it will be to this person. I didn't really have any rules for this particular list as opposed to last time. So here he is.
You should have seen what I wore. I had a king and a party hat. I was the
Owen Shepherd really influenced me passively with his dance. This is where the whole dancing thing goes by the wayside and we talk about personal exploration within the scope of dancing. Here's the thing. You gotta be willing to analyze yourself, and sometimes you have to analyze the approach that you have towards your creative passion. Owen was the person who directed me on a better path forward in dance. If it wasn't him, it would have been someone else, but he was a good friend when I needed it the most, when I was at my lowest point in my life and I was considering giving up dance. I had to sit and reflect on who I was to realize what dance meant to me and realize what I want to do with dance. And that's where Owen really influenced me, was being the catalyst for me to look inside myself and realize that I might have the wrong approach. And this was back in early 2020, so obviously this is stuff that has obviously worked for me and has sent me in what I feel is a very healthy, very good direction now with dance. And I honestly feel like I'm at my happiest I've ever been and my most driven I've ever been. Owen may not have taught me to look at philosophies like when in doubt, zoom out and ask me who I am as a person, but Owen was the catalyst that set that into motion by asking me that maybe I'm chasing the wrong goals. Which, if you look at my 10-part series, you will see that yes, I chased the wrong goals for a long time. Maybe it didn't start out entirely that way, but eventually I kind of leaned into it pretty hard, and I found myself putting out performances to stay relevant rather than because I wanted to. Number 5. Number 5 is just like literally a discovery within the last year for me. This guy straight out of the gate, like, I did not expect this. I did not expect this level of emotion and expertise from somebody so new to dancing. I did not expect the emotions conveyed from him to connect with me this hard as this particular dancer has managed to do. In only a few performances so far, he's basically a full contemporary dancer, and the way he uses his body to tell a story, to paint a picture, and to basically just like build bombast and let silent moments play out. This was perfectly executed in the duo JD and Fusano from MFF 2022. No joke, I would actually honestly put that particular performance among my top 3 favorites that I've ever seen in the furry fandom, full stop. It was just so sincere and heartfelt. And honestly, that's kind of a weak point for me in dance. Shoutouts to other people that steer in this lane of dance as well. I actually want to shout out a couple of dancers in particular regarding this. Give it to Aquarius Crystalwave for not being afraid to take risks and put out very interesting, intriguing, and conceptually brilliant performances. Another dancer I have to shout out is Roya, who only has ever really competed at Megaplex, but I would absolutely love to see them at another convention. A lot of people don't know about this dancer in the fandom. Please look up his Floor Wars entries from Megaplex over the last 5 or 6 years. He is absolutely incredible. And then another dancer, I think this might be one of the objective best dancers in the furry fandom that we've ever seen, and that dancer is Tidal.
Je t'offrirai des perles de pluie venues de pays où...
So they say that this got snubbed at BLFC. I don't know about that, because all signs point to this actually having been a showcase and not actually up for top 3. But don't quote me on that, because despite me thinking I've heard something about this, my memory's a little fuzzy on it. A lot more of my mind is just trying to come to terms with the fact that this did not place top 3 in this competition. Number 4. Number 4 is a 4-way tie.
Some fortune that I should have found by now.
Alright guys, alright. I've got a lot of people that are mods on my channel and stuff asking why the hell I included them in here. I made this list to tell you who my favorites are based on those who influenced me the most in dancing. That doesn't have to actually be the practice itself. It can be the thing that maybe gets me back in after a hard burnout. It can be maybe the thing that sets me on the right path forward. It can be the very reason I still dance today is them coming into my stream regularly and us doing dance streams together. So here's the thing, I'm not judging this based only on their dancing. While all of them are very good dancers, I honestly have to argue that they belong on this list simply from them being in my chat to encourage me. Hell, for that reason, you could even include people like Mortkorgs or Tarukai on this list, because they're some of my favorite people in terms of how they've influenced me as well, but I did want to keep this at least a...
Just dancers.
Come on. Number 3. Awesome 5 years ago, awesome now.
Wake up young again.
Guys, I mentioned when I was talking about Scout earlier how I really like Simple and Clean, which is a far cry from how I was like 7 or 8 years ago. The more you do with less is far more effective to get me on board. Because guys, for real, Beta Monkey is one of the cleanest and tightest dancers in the fandom in terms of choreography, textures, structure. Guys, Beta Monkey has influenced me so much in that I want his ability to create technically precise, beautiful, soft, but still delivering a punch choreographies that don't even look like they tire him out at the end. That's what I want to be as a dancer. I want to be a dancer like Beta Monkey. That's what I strive for now.
Thought I needed to go, didn't know I needed you so, but I don't want to be away from you.
So I've been hitting him up a lot and conversating with him quite a bit to ask for his experience. So while I know he won't have all the answers, he is the one whom I seek to look more like when developing choreography in the furry fandom. Simple and clean.
Oh my god. You've been taking your own notes, I'll just say that much. Because I've seen what you've described on my own dances, and you kept it simple, you had a clean, you had a straight story, I loved it.
This voice recording, my monitor shut off because I'm doing this all in one take, and I was afraid I lost my 26 minutes of voiceover footage, and I was about to just throw my monitor across the fucking room. Number 2. Well, I couldn't include him last time, so here he is.
Left, right, step up to the spotlight. While you walk the left, taking you to school. That's right.
He's gonna see I put him on here and probably be like, why the fuck do you have me on here? Remember what I said about it doesn't have to be about the dance alone? While I always pulled for Zug in the dance competitions because Zug, for years we lived close to each other and knew each other very deeply, he was a massive influence on my ability to create groups.
Take my hand, I'll teach you to dance. I'll spin you around, I'll let you fall down. Would you
He was honestly the catalyst that made me want to start making groups at all or even entertain the idea. And that conversation started shortly after Megaplex 2014, creating what would become Dukes of Weaseltown at Megaplex 2015, which to this day is still one of my top 3 or 4 favorite performances of mine that I have ever done. Dukes of Weaseltown was honestly the thing that set me back on track after I feel like I was steering out of control very early. For those of you that haven't watched my 10 years as a fursuit dancer video, I did 2 groups in dance competition in 2015. I did one for FWA as part of Fur World Order, and it was my first group experience. It wasn't a good experience, but it was a learning experience. And I took what I learned there and applied it to Dukes of Weaseltown, which was far and beyond a better performance overall because we enjoyed working together, we enjoyed the process, and we got everything done early. So we had lots of time to polish up and pay attention to the little details, and I honestly couldn't thank Zug enough for that experience and for just really setting me on a better path in dance. Okay, so guys, I said at the beginning of the last video, when I first started learning how to dance, I just wanted to make the biggest drop when the bass goes. And for a long time, I was like that. Zug was the one that introduced me to alternate forms of dance besides the ones that get the crowd hype, which was, at first, it was a little bit of a tough pill to swallow, but after I did my MFF 2014 performance, which had its emotional moments with a bit of bombast, I decided that, honestly, I felt more fulfilled when I brought raw emotion onto the stage, rather than when I just went on stage because crowd go. That's why I'm putting Zug as my number 2 favorite dancer in the furry fandom. White Flag, here's a few, oh wait, wrong show. Honorable mentions. Number 1. Let's look at the arc of emotional importance of the previous dancers that we've had so far. We've had technical skill input. We've had direct feedback input. We've had emotional cohesion in their past performances. We've had direct introduction to other forms of dance and other approaches to dance. What does that leave? Atsu Fox was the dancer that made me want to be a dancer. There is no argument. He will forever be my #1 because no other dancer can say that. I mean, you could argue I watched America's Best Dance Crew when I was younger. I watched AnthrocOn 2008 dance competition on YouTube back in like late 09. You could say any of those dancers inspired me. You could say that dancers I've watched in music videos have inspired me, but none of those made me want to get out of my seat and do it. None of those dancers made me want to go to the gym and practice. None of those dancers made me spend $20 on a mirror after AnthrocOn 2012 because I wanted to come back and try out for the next one. None of those dancers can say that. First interaction I ever had with Atsu Fox was in a Last for One dance workshop at AnthrocOn 2012 before I even knew who he was as a dancer. I was there because why not try it out? So I was already kind of getting my feet wet and wanting to learn, and then I watched him win the competition on Sunday, and there was no doubt in my mind at that point that I would go out and I would do it. And some people have always admired me in that regard, and I say thank you to those people, because when I feel something deep in my heart, I hyperfixate on it. And maybe it's to a fault sometimes, but when I want something deep enough, I hyperfixate on it because that's what I want, and I know it's going to take work. But the catalyst that started it all was when Atsu Fox went on stage for AnthrocOn 2012, and I was just a 20-year-old at his 3rd convention, sitting in the back of the room with a camcorder. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe if you would like to see more content of equal to or greater quality than this. And hey, if you're feeling super generous, there's a link in my description to my Patreon. $1, $5, $10, or $25 tiers are available. The $10 tier will get you a guaranteed slot in my next music exchange. The $5 slot will get you 48-hour early access to all of my videos. And hey, even the $1 slot will get your pretty little name in my little credit sequence that you're seeing here. Guys, please don't feel pressured though. I would love to be able to do this as a second job. Trust me, Uber sucks, but I understand times are hard right now. Donations, patrons, all that is never expected, always appreciated. So guys, this is not going to be my last countdown. I do plan on doing more countdowns, possibly even collaborations. I do have a couple of videos on the docket. I'll be working on those. And for updates, I do have a link to my Discord server and my Telegram chat below where you can hit me up directly and argue with me or just be a weasel with me. Please post weasels, lots of weasels. Anyways, thank you guys for checking out this video, and until next time, bye-bye!